Hello and welcome to the Storytelling for the Soul podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Kanata, and this is the place we talk about all things expressive writing and other creative techniques, all with a little bit of Buffy the Vampire Slayer thrown in. Buckle up and enjoy. Hello and welcome back to the Storytelling for the Soul podcast. Thank you so much for being here and for your time. I'm going to be honest with you here. So I paused the podcast for a couple of weeks because, to be honest with you, I just wasn't feeling it. Now, I struggle to articulate what it is exactly, but as a creative person, I am very well aware of when I am in flow and my content is flowing easily and without me feeling like I need to push myself to show up. And honestly, one of my top values and priorities when recording these episodes and writing any content is to be authentic. So what I didn't want to do over the last couple of weeks is jump on here and talk about all the usual things and pretend as though everything is okay, because honestly, and this happens to all of us, everything has not felt okay. And as you've probably gleaned from the title of this episode, I want to talk about the importance of sometimes hitting a hard reset on your life. Now, obviously, when you get to this point where you feel like you're fed up and frustrated, what we don't want to do is prevent ourselves from feeling all of the feelings, because let's be honest, we're human. We are always going to have times in our life, for whatever reason, potentially multiple reasons, that we're just not traveling at or in a state or vibration, whatever word you want to use, that is at its highest expression. Now, I mentioned the word frustration earlier, and there has definitely been a little bit of that seeping in for me over the last couple of weeks. I don't want to get too personal with this, but from a business perspective, I'm always happy to share in case others are going through the same thing in business. I want to say business is not an easy gig by any stretch of the imagination. Service business, service-based business is even more challenging, because inevitably what happens is you end up with a lot of people interested in a lot of free stuff, but to get them over the line into paid offerings, which as a business you have to do because otherwise you're basically just running a hobby on the side, a very time-intensive hobby, may I say. And sometimes it just wears thin, especially when you feel like, from a business owner's perspective, now whether this is right or wrong, again, I'm talking from perspective, not necessarily factual, but it's the way that it is. When you feel like you've given so much content and so many free things so generously, and then people arc up, they want more free stuff, they complain about things, the most minimal of costs, and you can't help but not feel valued in the work that you do. And what I always say is you'd never go into any store, let's say Safeway or, well, I should say Woolworths now, Woolworths or Coles or JB Hi-Fi. I'm in Australia, you can probably pick that up. You would never go into any store, grab a bunch of bananas, grab some milk, take it to pay and expect it to be free. Yet this is what the online world has created with service-based businesses. Now, the reason that I'm at this place of feeling frustrated and as though I needed to take a step back and take a break was not just about business. It was about a lot of different things, and that's the reality of life. You're never just dealing with one aspect or factor of life at once. We all have many things going on in our lives, and I must say, and I would like to acknowledge that My life is fairly simple compared to others. I don't have a partner, I don't have kids. 100% responsibility for my life is on me. So that's one thing that always gives me reassurance, is just how simplistic I have built and based my life on very deliberately. And that gives me options to basically pivot and change however I need to. Now, here's the most important point of this episode. Yes, we want to feel whatever we're feeling in the moment. Could be frustration, anxiety, annoyance. There's a whole gamut of emotions that you may be feeling when you're just not feeling it and you're feeling a little bit stuck. We want to feel it. We want to allow ourselves to process the emotions rather than stuff things down and continue on as business as usual, as so many of us are so good at in this 24/7 rapid-paced environment. We want to accept whatever is. Remember, anxiety is often brought on simply by wanting things to be how they are not. So we're allowing ourselves to feel whatever we feel, but we're not going to allow ourselves to marinate in these emotions forever. For me, there is no purpose in staying frustrated. That's not going to help my business to reach the people that I genuinely hope it does at some point. Frustration is not going to help me in any element of my life. It's not going to help me get up in the morning before work and go to the gym and get some movement in so that I can feel a little bit better about myself. It's not going to help me to go on a walk, even in the cold, when it's rainy, when I really don't want to. Frustration is not going to help me journal every day and meditate in the sauna so that I can take care of my mental health and well-being as best I can, which is even more important during the challenging times. So at a certain point, we have to move through the emotions. Now, how do we do this? There are a number of ways. I obviously use writing as a well-being tool, so writing is central to everything that I do. It's not the only way. For some people, they use dance, they use art therapy, coloring in is another popular one. Whatever works for you, go with that. But I wanted to pop in, first of all, just to show you that I haven't gone anywhere. I've just taken a momentary pause, which is okay. No problem with that whatsoever. But also to update you on what's been going on in case you're feeling the same way or similar. I'm sure many of you can relate to this because these feelings, life is an ebb and flow. No one is 100% happy and content all of the time. And if they are, I would suggest perhaps they just aren't all that self-aware. We all have moments when we ask ourselves all of the hard questions. And personally, I think my situation is definitely being influenced by being in my late 30s and coming at that point in life where I'm approaching the second half of life and asking myself all of the hard questions. In your 20s, you think that you have a lot of time to pursue and to do all the things that you want to do. But by my age, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to become the next Stephen King. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to become the next Oprah. So the second part of life is all about creating who I am going to become and taking the learnings from the 37 years that I've spent on this life and applying them. I'm going to leave it there so that I can keep these episodes short and sharp. If you would like to learn more about using writing as a well-being tool, head over to my website, sarahkanata.com. There are a range of ways that you can work with me, one-on-one, single sessions, as well as a 3-month program. And if you're looking for something at entry level, you can get started with my monthly journal prompts subscription. I will chat with you next week.